my partner and technology expert, Matt Connelly, here to deliver this valuable information to all of you. As we all know, technology has had a tremendous impact on our profession, and quite frankly, I don't know what I would do personally without the advice and guidance that I receive from Matt on a consistent basis, which is why I like to welcome him, to some of these calls every so often for my training clients. It seems every new year, we're impacted by some new technology that we need to know about. And what I love about Matt is he has the ability to talk English rather than confusing tech talk, which I find refreshing, and I hope you do as well. Matt will take time to take your questions at the end of the presentation. This presentation is going to take approximately 30 minutes, 35 minutes, and then we will open the lines for questions most important to you. Now, if I have any business owners on this call and you want to ask specific questions, I know when I've brought Matt before, some of you have confidential specific questions you want to ask Matt about how technology can promote your individual business. And so what Matt has offered to do is he will do 30 minutes of one-on-one consulting with the first 10 business owners who sign up for a 30-minute portion of his time, his consulting, for $1. I'm going to provide more details about how to sign up, for the 30 minutes of consultation with Matt for $1. But without any further delay, here's Matt Connelly, and let's get into the program. Matt, you there?
I am here. Can you hear me?
I sure can.
Okay, great. So let's just get into the agenda to start things off here. And so here we are. So, okay, so on today's agenda, I guess it's just important to note that to start things off, I've been in the technology business for about 14 years now, and it just seems to me that things are changing at just such an incredible rate, and it's really difficult for me to keep up with everything. So I can imagine how everyone on this call that's working the desk or running the company feels about technology when you have other things to do, and this is surrounding me 12, 14 hours a day. So what we want to do is kind of simplify things, give you some good practical steps that you can use in your business, things that are going to actually be effective and work for you, and actually leverage technology for your own benefit and not be kind of the thing that drives you crazy like it does several of us if we get down the wrong road with technology. So definitely that's one of the things I wanted to mention, that I know how you feel with regards to technology. I understand how fast it's changing. It always amazes me each and every year, and there's new technologies coming out. And so the idea is we want to simplify things and leverage technology. We don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole and get too confused and actually be counterproductive. So that's really one of the things that I see some owners getting too far involved into technology where it actually affects their business negatively. So we don't want to get people taking those types of actions. We want people to leverage technology for themselves, for their business, and actually be able to use it so that it works productively in your favor, and it's not the nuisance that we all know that it can be. So on today's agenda, I'm going to be talking about several things. Number one is what Google Authorship is and why you should get it on your website. This is something that applies to both owners and recruiters. Definitely, for sure, if you set up your site in WordPress, it can be very easy for you to be able to set up a firm where you have your recruiters blogging on your behalf as well, and have each of your recruiters have set up with Google Authorship, so that basically we'll get into it, but it's a great thing that Google has unveiled in the last, let's say, 18 to 24 months, but it's something that very, very few recruiters are actually using. We're going to also be talking about social media, how to automate that with your website. It's quite the thing that we get a lot of issues with owners that will be saying that, look, I just don't have time to do this, and we understand that. So one of the things that we're going to be talking about is automating that. Why your site needs to go mobile in 2014. I think everyone on this call understands that concept, but there's going to be a couple of points that we're going to be discussing on this call as well that might be of interest to you with regards to mobile. How to use infographics to attract business. This is kind of new concept, not necessarily a new concept in the marketing world, but it's something that hasn't been used much in the recruiting profession as well. So definitely something that we would recommend, and you can get a lot of traffic from this technique if it's done properly. And we're also going to be talking about Facebook versus Google, and this is always an interesting conversation for us that are in the technology business. And to be quite honest, a few years ago we were wondering if Facebook was ever going to figure it out when it came to their advertising interface. And it wasn't until about, I would say about a year ago, maybe even a little bit less, that they finally did, quote unquote, figure it out as it pertained to their advertising interface. And this is why we're really, really positive about Facebook and as far as the future goes with that. So we're going to be talking about that as well. So we can just kind of move on to the next slide here. All right, so there's a couple basic assumptions that we're going to be talking about here, and one of the assumptions I'm going to be saying is that you're using WordPress as your platform for your website. We're going to be talking about the use of WordPress plugins. A plugin for WordPress is basically a feature or like a little program that adds on functionality to your website without you having to custom code that. So an example would be, let's say you wanted to have a contact form on your website and you had a normal website and you didn't know how to actually do that. You'd have to get a coder to custom code a contact form. Well, there's plenty of plugins for that, for you to actually do that. Another plugin would be something to automate your SEO on your website, basic SEO like the site structure and making sure there's no duplicate content and issues like this. This would be a WordPress plugin. Again, a plugin is just something that enhances the functionality of your site, and that's available on the WordPress platform. So that's something that is fantastic from a standpoint that you have the ability to upgrade your website in a lot of cases for free just by using a WordPress plugin. So that's why we like WordPress as a platform. And WordPress is free. So that's another great thing about it. Of course, you need to develop your site in WordPress, and that costs money. But after you get that done, you can actually get a lot of WordPress plugins for free just by virtue of the programming community programming something and then uploading it to the community, and then everyone can use it. Another benefit of WordPress is to be able to make quick changes to your site. Let's say you hire a new recruiter, or you have new information about a new placement you made, or you have a new job that you want to post, or a new candidate that you want to float out there to try to encourage to get new business. This is definitely where you can use WordPress to have your site updated on the fly, and also, of course, post to your blog, which will allow you to get additional content out there, which could be found by Google and refer traffic to you and get potential business or candidates your way as well. If your site isn't built in WordPress, we strongly recommend that you do convert to WordPress for a lot of reasons. Okay, so let's get into Google Authorship, what it is, how it works, that type of thing. So first of all, Google Authorship is something that Google has basically floated out there for authors to be able to get them to post their content where Google knew who actually the owner of that content was. So the first time that Google finds a content, they will know actually who authored that content, because there's an issue online today where Google actually will go out and try to identify who actually is the owner of content, because what happens is there's robots out there that will come to you to other websites and scrape your content, take your articles, and basically republish them to their own website, hoping to make some money on that. And this way they don't have to write anything, and then they hope that Google sees them as the author and not you. And so this is one of the things that they've done to help identify who actually is the owner of particular content. And the great thing about them is it increases your click-through rates in the search engine result pages. And the search engine result pages is just simply the results that come up in Google when you do a search. All of the results that you see on the left side are all what people call the SERPs. And if the search engine result pages have a picture next to your site, you will, of course, draw more attention to your result and get more clicks this way. It also helps prevent the copying of your content as well. Google's not 100% on that, but at least they're a little bit better from this standpoint. The nice thing about this is that any recruiter can contribute to this content. So if you had a firm of 10 recruiters and you wanted them all to blog, or they want to just share their thoughts about what's going on in the market today, you can have each one of your recruiters to be a Google author. And the nice thing about that, of course, is that it establishes you as with a little bit more credibility. And if any of your potential clients see your picture and your name in Google, they quite often think that, wow, this is some type of an authority on the subject. And so that's really the beauty of this, and it's free. And it's very easy to implement. I'm going to be talking about exactly how to do that in the next slide, but this really helps protect your content. It's a great thing. So in the next slide, we're going to show you how to actually get started with implementing your results. Now, this is just an example. This slide is actually an example of what the pages will look like. So you saw that result where there's a bunch of pictures in the page. Now, most pages are not like that. Most pages just maybe have a one picture maximum. Most do not have any. So that's a great thing to be able to have to show that. So in any event, if we look at here the action steps to getting started with Google Authorship, it's actually very easy. Of course, with anything with Google, you need to register with Google Plus now. That's something where you basically grab your headshot photo with Google Plus, and Google is happy with that. They'll actually approve you as an author as long as you have a photo that actually has a face on it. They will not accept a photo of like a logo or something like that. So you actually have to be an individual and show that in in your Google Plus page. So it's actually your individual page. If you have WordPress, this is another example of using plugins. The Yoast SEO plugin will allow you to automate this Google authorship process, make it a lot easier than it normally is on a normal website. On a normal website, you actually need to add code to your website to verify that you actually are the owner of this particular domain. So in Google Plus, what you do is in your profile, you add the website that you contribute to. So you can contribute to many, many different sites. And you can say that you contribute to any site, but the difference is on the website side, they need to verify that, yes, this individual is a contributor to my website. So an example would be, I could add myself as a contributor to the Huffington Post, but unless the Huffington Post says, yes, Matt Connelly actually is a contributor, I will never show up as an author. So that's how that works, and so that's the beauty of using Google Plus and this whole aspect. So the last thing is to verify it in Google Webmaster Tools to make sure that your picture comes up on the results. So that's one of the things you want to do, is to make sure that your picture comes up when you're using it in Google Webmaster Tools. So another reason for getting Google Webmaster Tools as well. So we'll move on to the next slide. And on this slide, we're going to be talking about social media automation. And this is one of the things where we find that a lot of owners of recruiting firms will have the common complaint is that I just don't have the time for social media, and I don't see the ROI out of social media, and I'm not sure why I should use it or how I should use it, this type of thing. And we understand it. And it makes a lot of sense in a lot of ways to a lot of us that are working and have other priorities on our plates and don't have a dedicated social media person for us. So this is one of the ways you can actually automate it, is to basically, everyone is posting jobs or should be posting jobs to their website or to their ATS that has a feed that goes back to their website. That's typically the two ways that people do that. What happens is you can post to your website, and you can have, you guessed it, a WordPress plugin that will auto-post to your Google Plus page, to your LinkedIn page, to your Facebook page, to your Twitter account. Really any of your social media properties, you can actually do this automatically. And so this is one of the things where you can automatically do it. There's absolutely really no additional work other than the work that you're doing of posting your content to your website. So that's something that can be easily done via a plugin. And that plugin is also free. So there's various plugins that you can use to accomplish this goal. There are custom scripts for non-WordPress sites. The thing is that the ideal solution, of course, is to be more interactive with your fans, with the people that are following you. But if you're going to do anything from a social media perspective, you want to at least give the users who are coming and looking at your jobs, your open positions, you want to be able to give them the ability to share a job socially, to repost it or post it to a friend, that type of thing. But also, you want to be able to at least post content to your site automatically via your blog or your job posts. Okay, so if you make a job post, you make a blog post, it actually is going to get automatically sent back to your social media sites, and you don't need to do anything further. And at least from that standpoint, you have some basic social media action going on, which is more than most. So that's definitely one of the things we recommend. So if we move on here to the next slide. Next thing we're going to be talking about is your site responsive? And this is something I think more and more recruiting firms are understanding the importance of this, the ability to be able to have their site and make it responsive and to be able to adapt to different devices that are accessing the website. So we all know today how many people have iPads and iPhones and Android devices and phablets, as they're called, where it's kind of like a mixture between a phone and a tablet. We see a lot of people, in everyday life with these devices, and the question is, is your site able to act in a way that you want it to act for each different device that's accessing it? And this is something that still a lot of websites are not optimized for. And you can see by this little graphic here about how the numbers are increasing from mobile internet traffic. So as far as mobile phones, looking at global web usage in the States or in North America, it's gone from July of 2012 to July of 2013. It's gone from 9.5% to 15%. The numbers now are like in North America are like close to 20%. So that just gives you an idea that 20% of your visitors are coming on a mobile device. So you really need to have a responsive site that's going to display properly for the mobile phone. Otherwise, you're just basically throwing 20% of your visitors out the door. How do you know if your site's responsive? So basically, your site, and how does a responsive site work? There used to be back, not long ago, there was what we had were mobile sites, and mobile sites is a separate site, is a more simplified site than your regular website. But now what we're primarily doing is building responsive sites, and responsive site is the exact same site that you have on the web, on a normal computer, same functionality that it has. It just tends to fit the device differently. So if you can look at this little graphic we have here of the normal computer, and then we have the tablet, and then we have the phone. This is typically how it would break down. So on the phone, you'd have to be scrolling to get more information, but everything else would work the same. It would be easily adaptable. You can read all the text on the site, so that wouldn't be really a problem at all for you. So one thing that you have to look at here on this particular page, there's a URL, responsive.is, and if you go there and type in your domain name, you can see how your website looks on all different devices. So it's actually an easy way, a shortcut, rather than pulling up your phone and typing in your URL. You actually can just do this, and it's a great way to see kind of how your device looks on all, or how your site looks on all different devices. Okay, so moving on to the next slide here, we're going to be talking about Facebook advertising. And Facebook advertising is really one of my favorite kind of under-the-radar ways of identifying new prospects in today's market. And it's one in which that is completely wide open from a recruiting perspective. What's happening today in Facebook, and we have the amazing targeting ability inside of Facebook of being able to target individuals based on where they work, what position they have, their location, what university they graduated from. There's all of this data that people are willingly entering into Facebook that you can actually target on. So that's one of the nice things about it. So we're just going to move on to the next slide here. As far as the one thing that you need to know about Facebook is it's not just for dating. It's not just for consumer offers. You can actually reach MPCs, most placeable candidates, this way. It's a way in which you can get a lot of people to like your site. So if you want to get more fans, that's definitely a part of it. You definitely want to do that. Now, Facebook has done a deal with big data, and big data basically is Axiom, companies like this, companies that have all this data outside of, let's say, the traditional, let's say, internet databases that are out there. These are the databases that come from magazine subscriptions and different things like that. Like so. As an example, I've had several friends that have just, like, as an example, recently had kids, and they're like, why is Facebook displaying data or ads about diapers and things like that when I haven't posted anything about me having a baby on Facebook? And the crazy reality is there is a lot of data that big data has that Facebook actually has done a deal with. Now, of course, it's a little bit scary from one perspective of exactly how much info they have, but it is true now that on Facebook, if you want to target individuals who own $1 million home, you can do that. And that's something that I think 99% of the people out there don't understand, that you actually can do that. And Facebook, of course, hasn't announced this publicly. They've just, because they know that users wouldn't necessarily like that, but they've done a deal with Axiom and some other big data companies that have allowed them to be able to target individuals much better. So it's truly an amazing platform of how you can actually target these individuals. And what this means for recruiters really is truly an amazing ability to be able to target individuals on an unprecedented basis. And so when we talk about Facebook versus Google, there's quite a bit of talk on this in the market now, like who's ahead of who, and I have some really bright friends that have told me that basically Facebook has checkmated Google, and I think that that's yet to be seen. I don't want to go that far. I'm obviously pretty high on where Facebook is right now versus, let's say, a year and a half ago. Based on their advertising platform, I can see them being a $15 to $20 million, $1 billion company pretty soon. So I'm actually pretty bullish about where they're headed from a business perspective. Of course, we've all seen social media sites crash and burn in 5 to 10 years too, and we've all heard that the young people aren't using Facebook as much as, let's say, the 25 to 45 generation is. So that is yet to be seen, but the truth and the reality is Facebook and Google are both great platforms for you to advertise in. Facebook, you can target much better, and you can be laser targeted with Facebook. The thing is that people aren't necessarily in the mode of shopping or doing a search for something like they are on Google. So if someone does a search for something on Google, you have a pretty good idea of what they're looking for if you understand the keyword that they type in. But on Facebook, if you can target that individual that is, that likes, let's say, an IT magazine and is a programmer and lives in San Diego and works for a company that you want to target to pull programmers out of, this is a great way to target these individuals, like great programming jobs for people in San Diego, click here type of thing. And I know several recruiters who are using this that are doing really, really well with it, and it's one in which they wouldn't be necessarily happy with me sharing that data, but the cat's out of the bag, and Facebook is a great platform to be able to reach and target individuals directly. And it's one in which I really think is not going to change. So we're going to move on to infographics, and this is something that is kind of like let's say a side thing that we played around with, and we've had success with it, very good success with it, especially when it's gone viral. And it's one in which that I've seen a few of our clients do from a recruiting perspective to be able to attract new business and new candidates. Now, an infographic is basically a graphic that you just saw previously about the mobile web usage. That is a perfect example of a infographic that is shared. So what happens when your infographic is shared, you have a URL on it. And so here's an example of an infographic right here. Here is the one that we showed you. And so the idea with the infographic is to create one, and they're actually really cheap to create. We're going to be showing you that in a second, and to put your information on the infographic, and to be able to get referrals this way, to get phone calls, to get website referrals, that type of thing. So that's definitely one of the things that that we used in this presentation was an infographic. So how to get it shared? That's always a question that, all right, I got my infographic, now how do I get it shared? Well, you want to offer the embed option, and the embed option basically allows a user to be able to click on it, grab some code, and paste it into their website. So that's a great way to get a link as well, which is something you want to do from a Google perspective, is to get a link. Okay, so that's a great thing. Obviously, to share it with your Facebook fans, to share it on Twitter, to share it on LinkedIn. Posting it on Pinterest is, that's a social media website that is designed off graphics. So people are always searching Pinterest for graphics on different things. People will take your graphics and actually place them into presentations like this. So that's the great thing about these infographics, and it's something that is definitely an out-of-the-box strategy, but it's one in which that we've seen a lot of referrals from if you get it right. There are directories for them, so kind of like how Yahoo used to be a directory way back in the day, where you would actually submit your website to Yahoo, and then they would decide to include you or not, on the search. This is kind of the same concept of having, there's actually directories for infographics, because there's people actively searching for infographics to understand something about a business, to share in presentations, to use in videos, that type of thing. And so that's where your infographic can be really powerful if you have information that is valuable to a certain market and is done in a way that can draw attention to it. Press releases as well. So that's just sending out a press release and taking it from there. So moving on to the next slide, how do you get your infographic done? Well, I think it's pretty obvious right here. The answer is Fiverr, Fiverr.com. Fiverr.com is a website where people will do anything pretty much for $5. That's why it's called Fiverr. People will they'll create a logo for you. They'll create a infographic for you for $5. They will even be your girlfriend on Facebook for $5 for like 1 week. So that's definitely something that I've definitely thought about over the years, is to use that option, but I haven't gone in that direction. But nevertheless, this is something that you can definitely use on Fiverr, and it's something that is a great resource to be able to get something done. So Okay, so where are we at now? So if you are a business owner and you want to learn more about the technologies that we talked about, this is what we're going to ask you to do, is to go to this website. And we set up a tiny URL. So it's tinyurl.com/BarbRuno. And this URL, basically, this is only for firms that, only for owners of firms that want to get more information about what we talked about today. Really, the basis of your marketing and everything that you're doing on today's call starts with your website. So that's one of the things that we're really offering on a grand scale, is actually build a site for you in WordPress, a custom theme with a responsive design so that your site works for all the different devices that are accessing your website, one in which that you will have Google Authorship, one in which that you are understanding how to leverage social media and automate that, and one in which that you are able to also tap into some of the advertising strategies and be aware of some of the advertising strategies that are possible for you, how to set up your Facebook fan page and drive traffic to that in Facebook. One of the cool things about Facebook advertising right now is the fact that since Facebook is trying to grab demographic data on individuals, they're making it very cheap for users to actually, for you to advertise on Facebook and get people to like your page. And the reason why Facebook is making that cheap is because the more that you like on Facebook, the more that they can build a profile of exactly who you are and what you like, what you don't like, and the types of ads that you are primarily going to like to see. So this is one of the strategies with Facebook as an example that a lot of owners are going to want additional information on. I understand that's just something that I can't go into on a short call like this. But so what we've offered is for the first 10 firms to sign up for $1 at this URL. It's tinyurl.com/BarbRuno. And basically, I'll talk with you about your options. I'll talk with you about your site. We'll review your site. We'll take a look at where your site can improve, and then we'll just take it from there. So, Barb, I'll just turn it over to you for any questions.
Right, and what we're going to do is we're going to limit the questions to printed questions only because I'm outside of Chicago. We're having 50-mile-an-hour winds and a winter storm again, and unfortunately, often the audio, we have this echoing going on. So, the weather has given us a few challenges here. So if you have any questions, and I see there's quite a few already, if you go down to the bottom of the control panel, you see the word question with a plus sign. Just click on that plus sign and ask any questions you have. And again, if you've got confidential questions that you don't want to share, put the word confidential or anonymous before you type in your question, and I won't use your first name. So the first one is from Bob. Will the PowerPoint presentation be available to us after the webinar?
Sure, absolutely. We're going to post this video onto YouTube, and then we will include a link to the PowerPoint.
Okay, perfect.
In the description of the YouTube, yeah.
Okay. This is from Dan. What was the name of the plugin to use for Google Authorship automation?
Okay, that's called the Yoast SEO plugin, and that's spelled Y-O-A-S-T. And that's a free plugin. What that does is it automates your SEO. Now, I call it SEO. It's really your on-page SEO. 95% of SEO is actually getting links to your website. That's really how you get ranked in Google. It's not about the code on your page. It's not about the words on your page. It's not about the keyword density of your site. It has to do with the amount of links that are coming to your website. So, but
would you spell that one more time, Matt? Spell that one more time just so they have it.
Sure. Yoast, Y-O-A-S-T.
Okay.
And that's a WordPress plugin, yes.
Okay, this is from Terry. Clearly this gentleman knows his stuff, but this is way over my head. I have a basic website and am in my infancy for getting a social media presence. Social media for dummies is what I need. And let me tell you something. I can assure you, Terry, because I deal with owners all the time, and one of the great things is, there's a thing that Matt has done with our site and has done for other people where if we post anything on our website, automatically it gets posted on all the social media sites, so you don't have to do anything. And as an owner, I'm with you. I don't want to know everything that Matt knows. Quite frankly, I don't have time for it. And the minute I learn it, they're going to change it. I've learned that I took a long time, 2 or 3 years ago to really get into this with Matt. And then I realized the minute I got my arms around something, it would change. It was like this moving target. And so, if you're in the infancy, whether you're just getting into this or you've got something and you're not sure where you should go, sign up for the 30 minutes with Matt, because he basically will hold your hand and show you how to do things where you don't have to understand it all. You just have to know what tools to put on your website where things happen automatically, where as an owner you don't have to take your valuable time dealing with this stuff. Did you want to add on to that, Matt? I'm sorry I answered the question, but I was just trying to give it from an owner viewpoint.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. I mean, the idea here is exactly what you said. Like, the beauty of the sites we're building now is it really is dummy proof, like to use a phrase. I mean, the WordPress sites that the technology, and one of the reasons why it's become so popular is because of the fact that it's actually really easy to use. And it's really easy for, if you can use Microsoft Word, you can actually update your website. You can make a new post to your website. And you don't have to worry, like you said, Barb, about posting to Facebook, to Twitter, to LinkedIn, to Google+, because that's all automated. So now you updated your website, and now all of your social media properties are automatically updated. So that's the beauty of using the technology, and that's what I was talking about at the beginning of the call, of actually leveraging technology for your behalf. This is something that wasn't available even a few years ago.
Matt,
but now, yes, go ahead.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. Since Cynthia, Keith, and a lot of other people want to know, can you give them a ballpark on what it costs to advertise on Facebook?
Sure. I mean, you can actually get, for the traffic that, it depends on the competitiveness of a particular category. So if you wanted to target, let's say, weight loss, that's a competitive market, and so that's definitely going to cost more than, let's say, IT jobs, okay, as an example. Now, that said, there's two different types there's different types of advertising on Facebook. There's the in-feed kind of advertising, and you have to be careful of that sometimes, because people will give you negative reviews if you're not doing that right, because you're in their newsfeed, and people get really possessive of their newsfeed, and now all of those users, when you send out,
we may have lost our audio. I'm not sure. Let's see. No, it looks like it came back. Okay, the wind is starting to. I have a couple people saying that they're losing audio, and again, I think we're going in and out a little bit because of the wind, so I do apologize to that, but I can see we're still going. So JP wants to know, do you have any recommendations for WordPress social media automation?
Yeah, I mean, when we build the site, we actually plug that in for free. There's various plugins that actually do that. There's a paid one called Snap Social Network Auto Poster. That's like $49. But we have a license for that, so when we build the site, obviously we just include that for free in our new site build. So, but Social Network Auto Poster is one that we use that we've had good success with, and they're able to post to all of the major social networks, so it's worked really well for us.
Eric wants to know if you build sites from scratch.
Yes, all of our sites are built from scratch, so they're not templates, they're not, it's truly a site that's built from scratch. The code is, the theme of the WordPress site is unique. So, and that's actually important from a Google perspective, because think about it. If you're a serious business and a serious website, are you going to use a template, from GoDaddy for your website? Of course not. You're going to have a uniquely designed and built website on a proper site structure, on a proper IP address, to have all of the right things in place. And so Google typically is not taking sites that are built poorly seriously as well. So there's a bunch of other issues with these types of sites. They're very poor and very slow loading sites, and there's a whole host of other issues with them. But this is one of the reasons why you want to build a site fresh from scratch, no templates, and do it the right way from the start.
Thomas wants to know how can he convert his website to WordPress if he does not have a WordPress site.
Okay, good question. So if you like your site and you want to convert it to WordPress, that's going to be a matter of basically copying your theme and recoding that and building it into a theme and into a WordPress theme. And that's a technical thing. It's something that you can't just get a plugin to do. Let's say it's something that you actually have to show a designer, here's my site, and I want to build this site in WordPress. That's how you would do it. So definitely, that's something that we'd be willing to do as well.
Here's a similar question from Lynn. My website is via Drupal, D-R-U-P-L-E. Can I use this as a baseline for WordPress?
Okay, I think she meant Drupal, which is another platform. It's a similar platform like WordPress. It's what's called a CMS, a content management system. And so, yes, I mean, to answer your question, as far as taking your site like from Drupal to WordPress, you might not necessarily want to do that. You might want to check in to the plugins that are available on Drupal, and if you're happy with your site, and to just take it from there. We build all of our sites in WordPress because it's the most developer-supported platform out there, and we don't see that changing anytime soon. So it gives us a lot of flexibility. It's not perfect, but it's the best thing out there, and about 15% of the web runs on WordPress, so that obviously speaks for itself.
Okay, here's a question from Lynn. LinkedIn is a preferred mode for job postings. Isn't Facebook more social?
Yeah, it's a great point, and it is true. I mean, you want to post your available jobs to LinkedIn, and any individual that is following you on LinkedIn will be able to share that job with, let's say, colleagues that might be interested. But we can tell you that people are sharing stuff on Facebook all the time. In fact, I just heard the story about a recruiter that made a placement based on the fact that someone shared the job with a colleague of theirs that they had on Facebook. They didn't have any other information about that colleague. They didn't have their phone number, but they Facebooked each other when they were temps on a previous job. And this job popped up for this individual, and he just got onto Facebook and shared it with his friend, in a private message, and that's how the placement was made. So when people see something that is of interest to them, they will share it, and so that's why we use Facebook on it.
Lynn, I'll be honest with you, though. I had the same feeling you did, and my family hates me because I never go on my Facebook page, and they're always, I said, if you want to communicate with me, guys, don't put it on Facebook. Pick up the phone, because I just can't keep up with all of these things. And yet, when Matt has shown me how to do some Facebook advertising, the return on our investment was incredible. So don't downplay, it's Facebook, like I always say, if our recruiters have Facebook minimized, they're playing with their friends. But when you're looking at this from a different viewpoint as a business owner, and you're thinking about advertising for Facebook, it's amazing how you can go there and be so precise on the type of people you're trying to identify. And I mean, the list you're going to get is incredible. And so when you talk about sourcing, or even identifying potential clients, it's amazing what you can do through Facebook. So don't discount it as only social. I was doing the same thing until Matt proved me wrong. Let's see, you're coming in fine, go fight, win. Oh, hi, Bill. Yeah, I thought we lost our audio. We were out and in for a while. Let's see, JP, it's really warm in Orlando, going to be 78 this weekend. Come on down. You know what, JP? Yesterday it seemed every phone call. I just got back. I've been traveling, and I've been traveling north. I've been in Toronto. I've been in Connecticut. For some strange reason, in January, I was traveling almost the whole month, and I kept going to cold climates. But yesterday it seemed every person I talked to was from either California, Florida. We don't want your news forecast because our wind chill is minus 45 today. Let's see here. Barb, you're still awesome. Hope all is well. Trying to reach you. Oh, I will definitely reach out to you today. Let's see. Typical price for your website, Matt.
Well, that depends on exactly what you're trying to do. But to give you a ballpark range, we would say something in the range of, let's say, $1,500 to $2,000, something like that.
Okay, Dan, how is a social media content automation plugin different from Hootsuite?
Well, Hootsuite actually is it's a little bit more tied into the recruiting profession. There's actually some additional features they have that tie into an ATS. So if you're the type of person that posts your job to your ATS, Hootsuite can then go grab that and republish it out to your social network sites. One of the things that you need to know about Hootsuite is actually an ongoing cost. So there's typically a monthly cost associated with that. So that's definitely one of those things that we of course, if you can avoid a monthly cost, it's great to be able to do that. And there's really no reason now in today's day and age to be able to pay a monthly cost to just republish your jobs to your social network sites, because that's something that can be done through a script like Social Network Auto Poster.
Okay, this is from Kurt. What happened to Anthony Ferrari? Oh, Anthony had done some websites for us a couple years ago, and Anthony actually took a full-time job out of the field totally. Like, he left the technology field and is doing something totally unrelated. And since we've partnered up with Matt and his technology team in the last couple of years, we have a whole team behind us now, which is much better, than just using an individual. But that was just an individual we used to help out some of our members. Let's see, this is from Tom. If my site is optimized for mobile, are changes I make in WordPress applied to the mobile site?
Yeah, great question. Yes, it automatically. So your site will automatically fit the devices that are accessing it. So it's it's something that you don't have to worry about making any additions or changes to it. That's the beauty of having a responsive site. You don't have to really worry about how it looks on any type of device, no matter what changes you make to it.
Okay, Keith wants to know if the advertising is pay-per-click.
Well, there's different advertising options in Google and Facebook. You can advertise to where you pay a cost per 1,000 impressions versus to where you pay cost per click. Personally, I like to go cost per click because you can manage things a little bit better. There's sometimes where it makes sense to do cost per 1,000 because you pay an X amount per 1,000 impressions, and if you feel you have a really good banner and a really good target that you're going to get a lot of clicks, it pays off to actually use the cost per 1,000 or the CPM method. But personally, I use cost per click is typically the way to go.
Linda's asking again, her owner could not be on the call today, and she wants to know it's going to be recorded to view later. And yes, what did you say, Matt? We're going to post this on YouTube, and you'll have a link?
Yeah, we're going to post this on YouTube, and in the description we'll have a link to the PowerPoint so you can download the PowerPoint. So be sure to look in the description of the video that, to have basically if you want to get the PowerPoint slides downloaded, you just, in the description there'll be a little link there to where you download it.
Okay, Lynn wants to know, do we have to write job specs differently to fit the smaller devices?
No, not at all. You write them as normally as you normal do. So I mean, the idea is that you have a site that is responsive, and you just post your job on WordPress, and you look at it on the web, and you'll be very interested to see how it lays out on your mobile device. But it looks similar, but it basically just folds up a little bit more, and the text is very readable on your phone, your iPhone or Android device, and that's it. So you don't have to be less wordy. You don't have to worry about like how you space things. You space things for how it looks on the normal computer, and it will look fine for your mobile device as well.
Okay, somebody is saying, Bless is saying, I can't place my card number on the enrollment form. Does that mean enrollment is closed?
No, we haven't closed it, but just send me an email. My email is actually on the
send it to Matt at staffingandrecruiting.com. It's on the slide in front of you.
Right.
And so if any of you had any trouble with that, trying to sign up for that $1 consulting, just send an email to Matt at staffingandrecruiting.com. And we're tracking, we have the time frames of when things are coming in. And if you did attempt to do it and you weren't, you weren't successful in signing up, we'll still have basic information, so we'll see when you tried to sign up. So we're tracking everything you're doing, and so if, in fact, you did try and didn't succeed, your name will still be there, and if you did it before, you'll still probably become, one of the people that can get that $1 consulting with Matt. Okay, we're getting a lot of compliments, Matt. People are very grateful and didn't realize all these things. So a lot of this is thank yous and that you were very informative. If anybody has another question, we've got about 8 more minutes. We wanted to limit this to an hour because I know that, your time is valuable. And again, if you've got specific questions, I can't, Matt has really given you kind of an overview, but there's so much more to this. You've just heard, you've just heard a basic overview. Let's see, we've got a question from Patty, Matt. On a non-WordPress site, what do you do to make it okay on a mobile site?
Well, that's, it's a coding issue. So you'd have to basically, one way you can just talk with me and I can look at your site and basically we can look at a way in which we can develop the site so that it will display, differently per each device that comes to your site. What happens is when an iPhone comes to your website, the iPhone identifies itself. So that's that's how it works. So it's like, hello, I'm an iPhone. So or hello, I'm a desktop PC, that is running, Windows XP, right? And so when the device comes to your site, it's actually identifying itself. And so based on that identification code, you display what site you want to display to that individual. But having a responsive site, it will just automatically notice, okay, this is an iPhone. We have to display the site like this. And so the code needs to be, appropriately according to that.
Okay, Lynn signed up for your consultation, and she wants to know, how is she going to hear from you? Are you going to email her to schedule time, or
yes. How
are you going to reach out to the people that signed up for the consultation, Matt?
Yeah, I'm going to email them and set up a time, and we'll take it from there.
Okay, and can you give me a time frame, Matt, because they're probably going to start calling my office if we don't. So they'll hear
Sure.
from you within what time frame that they actually were one of the first 10 to get the consultation?
I'm going to start the consultations today. So when we hang up the call, I'm going to start to go through them and get through them today. But everyone will at least be able to set a time with me at some point today. Just respond to your email because we're going to have to shut it down here.
Okay, let's see. Will you email me to schedule time? Let's see. Responsive is won't display my site.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, Thomas, I'm not understanding what you're saying. You've got responsive is won't display my site.
Oh, okay, yeah, responsive.is. That's the URL that we showed. So their site is it's not working, but what you do in that case, Thomas, is actually just grab your phone if you have a smartphone and type in your URL. If you don't know how to do that, then we can walk through it with you and actually take a look at your site ourselves on
He
our
said that'd
end.
be great. That'd be great.
Yeah.
And see, what's funny, guys, think about this. 2 years ago, we were offering to do mobile sites for you as well as your websites because that's all that existed. And then that's what everybody did. We had a separate mobile site. We had a separate website. And now with the responsive site, that's all you need because no matter how they're trying to reach you, whether it's their cell phone, their tablet, and I can tell you at airports, I used to see tons of people on laptops, and now you see everybody accessing on, tablets and mobile devices, and that's why the responsive site is so important. You're getting a bunch of thank yous, Matt. And again, I think you all understand now why I brought Matt, to this call. And what I'm going to try to do is get Matt maybe once a quarter to do a call for us to kind of upgrade on what's going on here because we have to keep up with this stuff. But again, if you've got any questions, you can email Matt at matt@staffingandrecruiting.com. And again, Matt, everybody's thanking you. I want to thank you because I know that this eats into your time. And the only reason I asked Matt to do the consulting is last time Matt did a call like this, we got so many emails with questions in that I said to Matt, you got to offer something when you're on this phone because people are going to have questions and they're going to have questions about their businesses. And so that's why I got Matt to do this. And everybody's saying, Matt, that this was very valuable information. And I can tell you guys, the information that Matt has shared with you today will basically generate money for you. This is a way to increase your sales and profits. If you're a business owner, this is a way for you to increase your production and income. If you're a recruiter, manager, so everything he's told you today is a way to make you money. And I think you all know that I became a trainer so you can make more money. That's all I care about, is that you become more successful, and that's why I felt that this call was extremely valuable, because there's just a lot of things going out there, that basically, impact your business. And so I want to bring this information to you. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. Please write down Matt's email address. And again, we will basically let you know, we'll have this posted on YouTube, and watch for the links in that so you know how to, retrieve this information. But again, you can communicate with Matt at matt@staffingandrecruiting.com. So thanks for joining me. Any last-minute things you want to say, Matt, before we get off the phone?
Just to mention that one last thing about the responsive sites is one of the big things for recruiters, of course, is posting their jobs to their sites. So the beauty of that is when you post it to your regular website, it's automatically updated for the mobile devices. So that's one reason why you don't want to be running a different mobile site where you have to update two at the same time. It just gets more complicated and more frustrating from a technology perspective. So.
And imagine that you post your job on your website, your responsive website, and it not only goes to your, to people that are, accessing you by their mobile phone or tablets, but also you've automatically got that plugin where now your postings are also on social media sites. And all you had to do is post it on your website, and it automatically goes every place else. That's the beauty of some of these things. It's saving us time, and time is money. So. All right, Matt, well, thank you so much, and I hope you all got something out of this. I hope you implement some of the ideas. And do I think that 30 minutes of Matt's time is priceless? I do. I don't think you could put a value on 30 minutes with somebody that has Matt's knowledge. So would I strongly suggest that if you haven't done it yet, that you reach out to Matt. He's one of the best, and I hope you take advantage of his offer. So thanks, everybody, for joining us. Have a great day, and I hope you're having a record year so far. Thanks, Matt.
Take care.
Okay, bye-bye.